Welcome to the Ecom Breakthrough Podcast. Are you ready to unlock the full potential and growth in your business? You've already crossed 7 figures in sales, but the challenge is knowing how to take your business to the next level. Join Josh Hadley, an 8-figure Ecom business owner and investor, as he interviews highly successful business owners. Get ready, because you're going to learn specific actions you can take today to help your business reach its full potential and leave a lasting impact on the world.
Welcome to the Ecom Breakthrough Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Hadley, where I interview the top business leaders in e-commerce. Past guests include Kevin King, Stephen Pope, and Roland Frazier. Today, I'm speaking with Kris Gramlich, a seller and host of the Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone podcast. And we will be talking a lot about launching new products, the strategies that are working right now, and things you could be implementing in your own business. This episode is brought to you by Ecom Breakthrough Consulting, where I help 7-figure companies grow to 8 figures and beyond. Listen, Kris, I started Hadley Designs back in 2015, and I grew it to an 8-figure brand in 7 years. But I made a lot of mistakes along the way that made the path to getting to 8 figures take a little bit longer. There are times that I had a lot of self-doubt. Could I actually grow a real business? Could I be a leader? Could I hire a team? A lot of those mental, challenges that I ran into. And I wish I would have had a mentor along the way to help me overcome some of those obstacles that I encountered and the mistakes that I made that would have allowed me to go faster. If you've hit similar plateaus and you want to know the next steps to take your business to the next level, then go to ecombreakthrough.com. That's Ecomm with 2 M's to learn more. And as a special bonus to my podcast listeners, this month I'm giving away one $10,000 comprehensive business strategy audit session at no cost. All you need to do to enter to win this strategy audit is to send me an email at josh@ecombreakthrough.com. And in the subject line, say strategy audit, and tell me why I should choose your business for this free strategy audit that we'll be giving out. And if you don't win this month, don't worry, you'll be entered for future months to come. Before introducing today's guest, I do want to give a big thank you to Tyler Gregg of Amped. And I want to thank him for referring Kris as a guest for the podcast today. Amped is the leader in bringing Google ad shoppers to Amazon, opening the door to increased revenue, higher brand and product rankings, and reduced ad costs. And so today I am excited to introduce you to Kris Gramlich. Kris is a professional FBA seller, a podcast host, and an account executive at Sellozo. Kris has always been entrepreneurial and enjoyed the thrill of selling items. From selling items at garage sales as a kid to mowing yards and then selling clothes on eBay, Kris learned how to sell physical products on Amazon in 2013. Starting out by selling things around the house, he learned the basics of retail arbitrage and started sourcing his own products. Kris launched his first product in 2014 after watching YouTube videos and listening to podcasts. Currently, Kris has 4 brands and enjoys helping other sellers on Amazon. Kris hosts a podcast with Dustin, another seller, where they talk about industry leaders and other sellers. So welcome to the podcast today, Kris.
That's quite the intro there, Josh. That was pretty good. I'm going to have to take a couple notes there and kind of implement those on our own podcast. That was really good.
Hey, well, you have a good bio yourself. I think that's why it sounds so good to you.
You got that nice and smooth radio voice. I like it.
Well, Kris, welcome to the podcast. We're super excited to have you on. You're doing a lot of cool things in the industry. I think that, you're an account executive at Sellozo. You're also hosting another podcast where you're talking to other cool sellers and the strategies that they're implementing in their own business. And then last but not least, you're an actual seller yourself with 4 brands. So you're in the trenches. You know what's actually going on. You're not one of the, let's call it a fake guru that doesn't actually sell, but loves to preach what best practices should be. So Kris, tell us a little bit more about, Sellozo and you being an account executive there, just so people get an idea of, what does that mean? What is Sellozo?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just happened to fall into Sellozo. I went to a local meetup. This is back in early 2018. I went to a local meetup here, and I'm located in Kansas City, Missouri. And it was hosted by Sellozo. Sellozo put it on, and I have never heard of Sellozo ever. And I didn't even realize they were in my backyard here. So I went to the meetup, met a couple of people that worked at or still work at the company, talked to other sellers, and it was kind of cool because we at this meetup, they were going around like, tell us how you're doing, tell us what your business is like. And, back at the time, I'm 2014, so I'm 4 years in already by the time I get to this meetup. And myself and maybe one other seller were having success on Amazon. A lot of other people were just getting started or just looking for products, or they just listed their product and they're trying to struggle with, launching their product. So at the end of it, I had a whole crew around me, people talking with me and asking me questions and like, what should I do here? Should I do this? I'm like, you can probably do that. It was a lot of stimulation overload. Like I came into this meeting just trying to be like, sit back and kind of hang out and just listen. And it turned into like sharing all the secrets and things that I've done and things that I've seen and things that I would suggest doing. So it was really cool. So at the time, I was not with Sellozo. I went back to my original job where I've been in the e-com space for a while. So I used to work at an e-commerce company that sold physical products on their own website. Like 85% of their sales were on their own website. So I got to see what it was like to have a warehouse, use inventory, do the marketing, imaging, videos, and like see how to grow a website, drive traffic to it and stuff. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I went back to that position, and I don't know what happened, but the stars aligned, and they let me go shortly thereafter. That my position was going to be more automated. I was a buyer at this old company, so a lot of the buying has been since automated now. So they let me go, and I quickly called Sellozo and said, "Hey, I'd love to come join your Sellozo team. I'm a seller. I can relate to sellers. I can help sellers. Like I know PPC. I think I'd be a huge asset." And that's how I got in. Started talking to sellers, and it's been great. So that's how I got in. Sellozo is a PPC software. So what we do is we help sellers with automating their bids, automating the transfer of keywords from one campaign to the next, day parting their campaigns. That's a big term now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different terms flying around, and there's a lot of different tools out there. Sellozo's been around since 2017. It was built by somebody who has Google background, so there's a little bit of that built into it. But yeah, so my days consist of helping sellers with their PPC and helping them with their own businesses, and kind of like a mentor. You mentioned it in the intro there, like not having a mentor. And we started around the same amount of time. There was really nothing out there. A couple of podcasts, maybe a couple of YouTube channels, but there really was no like meetups and whatnot. So I like to give back as much as I can.
No, I love that, Kris. Yeah, I think both you and I, like, it was so new, when we both kind of got onto Amazon, even though people started even earlier than that. But it's definitely evolved over the years. And I think having a mentor that's kind of been there, done that to help you, I feel like is so invaluable. And I mean, you get to do that on a day-to-day basis. So you're looking under the hood of multiple businesses. You have your own brands. What are some of the biggest challenges that you are seeing other sellers facing on Amazon right now? Maybe it's some of your own brands, maybe it's some of the existing, clients that you're working with.
Yeah, good question. Well, CPCs are rising, so cost per clicks are going through the roof. You really got to figure out what terms you want to go after, what keywords you want to go after when you're doing bidding on your ads. But I'd say that the main thing is, and this is something I do whenever somebody books a call and we talk with somebody, is just look at their listings. Like, show me your storefront. Like, let's see the listings. Because with a bad listing, with no imaging or small imaging or not optimized images, a bad title, short bullets, even like the EBC and no videos, like that stuff is necessary now. When people come to your listing, you want them to convert. And if you lack that stuff, or even reviews, if you lack all that other, optimization things with title, bullets, imaging, your conversion rate's gonna go down. So the first thing that I like to do, especially when somebody books a call, is just learn their business. Like I pull up their products, we see what they're doing. And a lot of the things I'm seeing right now is just like listing optimization.
Interesting.
I think images is probably the number one thing that I would focus on. A lot of sellers, a lot of people I talk to, like, I just had these built on Canva real quick, or I just hired a Fiverr gig. I put the money in your images. Definitely spend the money in your images, because when people come to your listing, they're going to scroll through your images and make that decision on whether or not they're going to buy. That would be the thing I'm seeing currently with most accounts, people that are coming on trying to use Sellozo, and their just images are kind of lackluster.
Yeah. So tell me more about that. Like, what are the mistakes that people are making with their images that you're like, dude, come on, you got to step up your game here?
Yeah. Poor Photoshop. Like, it's just, you can see right through it. I don't know about you, but when I see like images in the Photoshop just does not look right, or somebody's holding like a makeup brush and you can obviously tell that it's not the same, like it doesn't match up correctly. It's just bad Photoshopping. So that's just a big turnoff personally for me. It doesn't feel like a good brand, or it makes me feel like something else is wrong with the product if they didn't spend the time to do like real lifestyle photos and give it like a good feel, like a premium feel. So bad imaging or bad Photoshop. Another one is just not enough. They just throw a couple images in there, 3 or 4 images. And I was guilty of this at the very beginning too, just trying to get my feet wet and learn this throughout the time I sell on Amazon. But just 3 or 4 images, and I think that's enough. Another one is the font. So infographics are great. But if they're not zoomable, no one can read what's going on here, especially if you have a product that has a lot of moving parts or needs instructions. Your font, it has to be something can read. So zoomable images is something to look at. And I like to give this tip out to anybody. Like, whenever I talk to somebody, just go look it up on mobile. Like, go type your main keyword you want to look at on mobile inside the app, and just see what the photos look like there. And just kind of get an idea, like, what you should be doing. There's things you can do to like make the photo taller, so it takes up a little bit more room on the search results, or make it bigger so that they can see what you're actually selling without having to click on it. So if you do run pay-per-click, you kind of cut your wasted ad spend out, because people aren't like researching it. They already know not to click on that one, because then maybe it's not exactly what they're looking for. So you kind of save some money there. So I think imaging gets overlooked. I would spend the money to make sure that you have the correct images, and then the flow of images. I'll end on this one. Like, the flow of your images. Like, tell the story of your images. You got the main image first. Tell me a little bit about second. Show me some lifestyle photos, the benefits of it, and then maybe have a video at the end of it to kind of tie it all together. That would be one quick suggestion.
Awesome. I love that. I completely agree with you. And I think that's one of the most interesting things. You're working with a lot of clients in PPC, right? But your very first thing, like in terms of mistakes people making, it wasn't, oh, they're advertising on wrong keywords, or their campaigns are set up in the wrong place, or whatever. Like, your first thing is like, no, I look at their images, and typically that's where they're going wrong. And I would completely agree with you here in the aspect of a lot of sellers, to be honest with you, aren't spending the amount of time and thought that they should with those listing images. And like you mentioned, like, it makes all the difference. It's funny, like, within our own niche, and we have different competitors that we follow, and I'm amazed that they get any sales, because some of their products, like when they Photoshop it, it's like this poster or whatever is like 2 times the size of a child. Like, that's not what this product is. Like, how in the world, like, I don't even know how that passed the sniff test. Like, somebody's like, that looks good, right? Like, but I think that if you just outsource it to somebody and you're like, oh, well, they're the Photoshop expert, I'm just going to load it up. Like, I think that's a big miss. And so I completely agree with you, like, doubling down on the images. And we've talked about this in previous episodes, but that main image is everything. And especially when it relates to PPC and you want to increase your click-through rate, you want to stand out on Amazon and especially on mobile. I like that you touched on mobile, because I think everybody's working on their desktop, right? And it's like, oh, this looks great on desktop. most consumers, I think it's over 66% for sure now.
Oh yeah, at least
are on mobile, right? And so they're on the app. So go on the app, go on the mobile site and see what it looks like when you're scrolling down. And then if you notice like everybody looks the same, well, good. Here's your opportunity to do something different, right? Either zoom in on the image, or you could test out adding like different items to the product, or, you know, calling out different features in that main image. I think one of the biggest takeaways I've had recently from many sellers that I've spoken to is that you can kind of push the boundaries a little bit more on those main images than I think people initially have been doing. And worst case scenario, Amazon just, you know, kind of suppresses that image or that listing for a little bit. It's not like you're getting a mark on your account per se, right? That's like, oh,
yeah,
your
and you'll know
account's going to be
quick.
suspended.
You'll know quick if it's something they don't like. Like if the background's not fully white, you'll be able to upload a photo, and before you even probably hit save, it'll give you like an invalid, like this photo is not going to work, change your main image type of deal. So you'll know pretty quick. But I do like that you mentioned you can push the envelope a little bit with your photos for sure.
Yeah, I think you have to, right? Especially with PPC. So, and then optimizing for mobile. So I love that. That's a great way to start out. I think you shared a lot of value already. So what else? So you've looked at images, right? And you're looking at listings, trying to optimize them. What else are you seeing kind of mistakes, easy mistakes that sellers are making that, you know, people should be aware of?
Yeah, you touched on it a little bit there, and it's like the structure of your campaigns. Everybody goes after exact match, not enough like data to try a phrase or broad match. They have maybe all their keywords in one campaign. I like to split that out. So our personal preference is, you know, broad goes to broad, phrase is phrase, and exact is exact, and just keep those keywords separate, and kind of make sure you're optimizing the bids on each one, just to kind of get an idea of what's working and what's not working. So I like the structure is something that I really like harp on. So after we look at images, we then look at their structure and see what they're doing. It's all over the map. Some people have, you know, just a simple auto campaign. That's all they're doing is just auto campaigns. That's like, okay, we're going to change your life here. We're going to do something different than just auto campaigns. We're going to try some, you know, broad, phrase exact. We're going to get you discovered more. But some other people have really extensive like structures they've already built. The big sellers, especially that we see a lot of that come over to Sellozo. We have a tool called Campaign Studio, and Campaign Studio actually allows you, like, it's a visual. I don't know if you've ever remembered, and this is going back a little bit, so you probably will, the tool ManyChat, where you actually would make like flows, like sequences, like flows. It's the same visual, but with your Amazon campaigns. So if you think about how your ManyChat was set up, where you would drag in and drop in from one place to the next, we're doing the same thing with like an auto campaign goes to your broad campaign. And what's going to end up happening there is when your auto campaign converts, it takes that search term and moves it to whatever broad campaign or phrase, exactly whatever you set up. So when sellers come to us with a really, really large structure they've already got set up, that Campaign Studio is like, it takes whatever they were envisioning in their head and it shows them on the screen, and they love it. So the structure is super important. I see a lot of testing with top of search recently. We're in Q4, holidays coming up, ranking for keywords. I would probably start doing that now. So that, by that time, 3 weeks from now, by the time holiday shopping starts, you're ranked organically well already. Don't wait now. I would do it right now. So we're seeing a lot of top of search, like top 5 keywords, top of search multiplier really high. Give me aggressive bids, so that by the time the holiday season comes, they're ranked organically well to start. So a lot of that is happening right now. A lot of top of search is happening right now. And then another one is, just to kind of end up here on that, is sponsored display. I used to hate sponsored display. I kind of still do, but it's something that I think a lot of people are leaving money behind, especially if your product is something that people rebuy again, and like you can retarget them, not only on Amazon, but off Amazon. And I think Amazon is coming up with some more features. They just announced recently that sponsored display is going to have video ads added to it.
Right.
So that's going to be huge. So I think sponsored display needs a little bit more attention. And we're starting to see that inside the app here, inside Sellozo, that a lot of people are starting to do that, especially for products where they can retarget customers.
Awesome. I love that. I think there's a lot of golden nuggets there, and we can dive into some of these rabbit holes. But where I kind of want to take this conversation is, we could spend all day in PPC land. I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But let's see what's working best for sellers when they're launching products. So you have your own brands. You have 4 different brands. I'm sure that as you work with clients and even as you have on your podcast, you've probably heard some really cool strategies in terms of ways that people are launching products. So tell me from your perspective, what do you see working when it comes to launching products on Amazon now?
Well, it's the tried and true method, I think, that more people are paying attention to, and it's building an audience, building a list, getting like your funnel set up and having your passionate customers ready so that when you launch a new product, all you got to do is hit up your list, whether it be through Messenger or whether it be through email or whatever device you're using, so that when you launch a new product, you hit that list up and they're ready to roll and you start to get that sales velocity. So I think the strategy, in person, what I'm using is just list building. That starts with a really, really nice insert card. Some of this may be a little bit gray area and do what you wish, read the TOS. But anytime you buy something off Amazon, normally you're getting an insert card anyway. So, just do what you want. But insert cards are being more and more advanced, I'll say, driving people to a landing page where they can register or extend a warranty, or they can learn more about your brand, getting them more involved with your community, sharing your social tags or your social handles. People like to see that. So to launch a product, to answer your question, I have my list built out, and I'm seeing people do this, especially using Sellozo. They have their list built out. They get that momentum built up, and as soon as it hits the inventory, as soon as Amazon gets the inventory, PPC, their start dates are turned on, their list is buying, and they get that momentum going. And then there's things you can do to the listing, obviously, to help with that conversion rate. But to launch a product, it used to be easy, Josh. Remember back in the day, like 99% off coupons?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Free, like that was crazy. That was crazy. And I'm glad Amazon got rid of that because it really cleaned it up. But now I think it's building a list and being more brand, build a brand, right? Like, don't just sell random products. Like, be a brand, create a list, and hit that list up when you have new products.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. When we had Kevin King on the podcast, he had talked a lot about, that's what he sees being the biggest differentiating factor over the next 5 to 10 years is like, it's only going to get more challenging. And unless you lean into like creating a real brand and having a brand voice and then gaining your own audience, like you're going to be left to the wayside if you don't keep up. So I want to dive in a little bit more with how you're building that audience with insert cards. We do the same thing with our brand. I don't know that I necessarily see that as like overly gray. I mean, you look at like a box that, grab some Clorox wipes, right? What's on the product label for Clorox wipes? It's the P&G website, right? So like, and they have like a, they're not saying like, hey, come register your warranty per se, but like they have links to their social media, right? They have their icons, they have their website on there. So like, I don't think people need to be as scared about that, right? But what are you seeing working really well when it comes to product inserts?
Well, if anything good out of COVID came, it's that people were more adapted to QR codes.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
People like they know what that is now. And so a QR code, like that just, now people realize, oh, I can scan that. So a QR code insert that has some type of messaging like, thank you, get your free gift. There's things that I'm doing now where somebody scans it, they go to a landing page. In that landing page, they give name, email address, order ID number, and that just kind of verifies that the order matches with Amazon order, so we're not just getting spammed for free gift.
Yep.
and they scan it, and we just give a free gift out. And all they got to do is provide us with their name and their email address. We're thinking about adding their mailing address there, just to kind of have that for like a backup plan to do postcards. I get a random side note here, but I bought something on Amazon, like literally 60 days later, I got a gift, like a postcard in the mail.
Really?
How'd this guy know to send me this postcard for another item? So like reverse engineering, that's kind of fun for me. So I'm trying to figure that out. But yeah, the insert, scan, QR code, landing page, basic information, first name, last name, email address, and then the order ID. We're using a tool called, it's going away from me, Zapier, however you want to pronounce
it.
That links up order IDs so that when they type an order ID, it matches correctly with the order ID inside your account. And then from there, we send them a free sample. And the free sample, it's just something to like get them to engage with us, maybe try another product that we're thinking about launching down the road. It also just allows them to like feel warm and fuzzy. So maybe that when that review request does come and that review request is done by Amazon, we're not sending any more like, hey, give us a 5-star review. We're just leaving it more like providing value. And whenever they get something from Amazon that says, how would you rate your experience with so-and-so brand? Maybe they think, hey, that was a good brand. I'll leave a 5-star review. So we're leaving that alone.
So you're not even touching reviews.
No,
you're not even
want to touch it.
Yep.
Yeah. Just leave it alone, like just value.
Yep. I agree 100% with the, not even touching reviews. We've made the same decision because we have opt-in flows and all of that. And everybody's like, why don't you ask for a review? And it's like, I'm not even touching it with a 10-foot pole. Because
not anymore, man.
That's the one thing that like is if Amazon's going to suspend you overnight for something, it's going to be review manipulation. It's like that is something you don't even want to cross. And I think they're not even like suspending people. I think they're just like shadow banning like your products now. And it's like not even going to touch it. Like
it's not worth it.
Not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. And plus, I think there's enough going on in the background that Amazon does with reviews and whatnot. And the people that buy off, like, we're all Amazon shoppers. We kind of get the idea that you can leave reviews and we get those emails. And so I rather just leave that alone, get a free sample, give me your email address. And when we launch a new product, we'll let you know and we'll give you a discount code and you can go buy the new product. So I'm with you. I don't touch the reviews. Let's let that be.
Yeah. Hey, going back to, so I like the idea of using QR codes and it goes to a landing page. Number one question would be like, what type of free, gifts are you giving to people when they do opt in? And then secondly would be, what messaging do you have on that insert card that kind of draws people in to say, yeah, I do want this free gift? Or is it just kind of a mysterious free gift that they're after, right? And I'm curious, like what your conversion rates are in terms of like people actually scanning it.
So the free gift, luckily for me, or not, I would say when I've been doing Amazon, I switched all my thought process from sourcing from China and overseas to sourcing here in the States. So all my products are here locally, so I can get product really quickly.
That's awesome.
One cool thing is that I talked to my supplier and I said, look, we're going to try something here where we're going to do a free gift. And it's just going to be a smaller version or a smaller quantity of what we're going to sell in the long run. But I just want to get people to touch it, like a sample pack of it. And they're like, no problem. So that's maybe cost me like $4 or $5 my cost to do that. Now I am paying a little bit of shipping here, obviously, but it's worth it when you get the email address, especially if you're going to launch new products. So the gift is a product that they're probably going to use again, or they're probably going to buy again, or they're going to have interest in again, come 90 days or 120 days when we fully go live with it. The messaging on the insert card is simple. It's, thank you. Here's your free gift and the steps of how to claim it. It just says scan QR code for free gift, put your information in, confirm your email address, really is all it says. And so, and we kind of make it, brand centric, like tell our story, like how we started this and why we started this brand. When I say we, I'm talking about my wife and I, and why we started it. And so that kind of, gets them in there like, oh, this is like a small family business, hopefully. Like that gets them to commit. They scan it, and when they get to the page, I put a video in there. So the video on the landing page is like, it's me again, like, hey, thanks for taking the time to scan the QR code. To get your free gift, simply just fill out the form below, confirm your email address, and we will get a free gift sent your way. So, and
Cool.
a lot of people reply to those. Like I get personal emails back. So it's kind of nice.
Dude, that's awesome. So on the landing page, do you ever reference like what free gift they're getting, or is it just completely random and they're just like, all right, let's see what you're going to send me?
Yeah, it's random. So
Cool.
the products that they're going to get are going to be in the same niche of the product that they bought. So it's
okay.
It's all going to be in the same area. So it's not like they're going to buy a silicone spatula and then they're going to get a water bottle. Like it's all going to be within the same category, just a smaller version. There's a lot of different variations, which makes it nice for the free gift. But the opt-in rate, all they got to do is just name, email, order ID. The order ID was something we just added just to kind of prevent the spam of people just coming to the page, because once that gets out there, the page gets shared to all these freebie gifts, and next thing you know, we're giving away a bunch of freebies. So we did the order ID to kind of verify that. But yeah, it's super easy, super simple. And then we use MailChimp to follow up on emails. Okay. And we don't email a lot. I don't have like a lot of flows built. The emails are like, thank you, for joining the VIP club. And then, maybe like 2 weeks later, we'll give them an email ton about our story and why we created the brand and what we're doing, and kind of like a roadmap of products that we're looking to promote, and just kind of keep it casual. And then when we got a new product coming out, I'll hit up that email list, maybe a month before, let them know, get ready, it's coming. I like to share like photos behind the scenes a little bit, like we're packing them up, or we're getting ready to mail these out, kind of let them feel like they're part of it, and they are. And then when we go live, that's the tricky part. I'm sure you've had to deal with this too. Is like Amazon will check it in, but it's not really fully checked in. So you got to kind of like wait for it to be fully checked in. So once it's fully checked in, we send out a blast. They purchase the item, and then we go from there. But the insert's just one part of it. There's other things I like to do outside of the insert just to kind of get the momentum going, and get those sales going. But the insert's just part of it. Yeah.
No, I love that. And I love the strategy that you're employing with kind of giving somebody like a smaller version of a product, with that. So is this kind of like a consumable, or this is something like they're going to like use up over time? Or
yeah,
is this
it's more of a consumable.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're in the pet niche. I'm in the pet space. So
okay.
Just think dog treats. And then now okay, there's a lot of dog treats.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of options. So, we can go all over the map as far as samples go. But it just allows, like, they get it, and if they like it, great. And, sometimes people are like, oh, I don't need, like, my dog doesn't like this, or we don't give our dog this stuff. It's like, no problem. We have a whole slew of other products that we can offer you. Yeah. Let us know what you like, and I'll send you another free sample. Like, I'd rather send 100 samples out to one person and hope like to make them happy than just like not send them anything else. So like, one thing I've learned at that e-commerce company I worked at was like, we would send out free items just out of nowhere because people said they lost their item in shipping, or if the item they bought from us a week ago, all of a sudden broke at a game and they needed it. So we just sent them a free item. And so that I had to kind of lower my guard a little bit. I was like, well, we're just sending people free items. That's like, we're losing money here. But in the long run, they're coming back again and again and again and again and again and again. They're telling their friends about you. They're coming back. So, whatever. If that sample doesn't work, I'll send you something different.
Interesting. That's very cool. I would assume because you're kind of sending out like a little sample pack, right, of maybe some treats and whatnot. Then they're like, hey, my dog really loved this one. So I actually let's go find the full version, right? We need the full package of that. So do you see,
that's the idea.
Are you able to track that at all to see like what that, take rate is, so to speak, that people upgrade at all?
Yeah, I don't do a good enough job using attribution, the Amazon attribution link. That's something I probably need to pay a little bit more attention to like track where that sale is coming from, especially when I send out emails and use social media to promote items. I probably need to do that better, but I'm assuming, if it's all assumption, but if I send them a smaller version of an item and we later launch that item, I'm assuming that customer is going to want to take advantage of that because they like the free sample they got earlier. So I don't have anything set up yet for tracking, but that is something where, when we do send an email, use an attribution link, even the referral bonus, so that I get 10% back when they use that link. That's something I got to do. There's just so many moving parts to that I'm sure there is, but if there was a software out there where I could just copy this link, paste in this email, and be done with it, that'd be great. but there's just so many moving parts.
Yeah, no, very true. But I guess, long story short, you're sending out samples. They cost you maybe $3 or $4, $5, plus you're paying shipping on that. But you're making an ROI. I guess you don't have the conclusive data on that, but I think you keep doing it because you believe you're getting an ROI from that. Then, correct?
Yeah, and a lot of the items that I'm going to be selling are subscribe and save. So I kind of look at that, like, are my subscriptions going up? And it's hard to correlate that to the sample. But if my subscribe and save numbers are going up, I'm getting more customers. People are telling about the brand. They're buying more. They're seeing more raw items. So that's something I switched when I first started on Amazon. I did just like one purchase items, like they just bought one time. That was it.
Yeah.
My first item was a dog shock collar and dog training collars, electric collars.
Yep.
And some people just bought like one time and I would never hear from them again. And so I got out of that space for more reasons than we could discuss.
Yeah, but, sure.
Subscribe and save is what I'm looking at. So, if those numbers go up, I have a feeling that the sample and all that's paying off.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's so important. I think that anybody that has replenishable or consumable products, like, oh my goodness, like this is a great strategy to utilize. Like I would definitely be leveraging free samples of some of your other products, giving people a little taste of it, and then watch those subscriptions, right? That's kind of what you want to be tracking there. So great value shared there. Now, my question there too, when you follow up with your email subscribers, are you trying to spread that out over a period of, a couple weeks so that you don't just get all the sales in one day on Amazon, right? That you're kind of like boosting up that sales velocity over a period of time rather than just one day?
That's a great question. We don't have it separated out. I don't have it separated out by segments. It's just a all blitz go, all systems go kind of deal. I have toyed with the idea of doing a separate variation just for that list and then launching a second variation after reviews show up on the listing again to that list. If you follow what I'm saying there, it's basically give your list one variation of a product, blast it out there, and in return, they're kind of conditioned to leave reviews.
Yeah.
And then the second variation with my items being local here in the States, it's pretty simple to switch to a new UPC code and add a new variation within the same listing. It's the same item, maybe just change from a 6 count to a 7 count or 6 count to 5 count or size different, change, whatever. It's the same item. But then now, when I launch the true item that I want to go after and that I'm really wanting to scale up, I can then hit up that list again, turn on PPC, hit up the influencers, and now I've got reviews and my conversion rate is a lot higher than it would be if I didn't have those initial reviews at the very beginning. So
makes sense.
It's kind of a area to teeter on, but it's been working.
I love that. I think that's a wicked smart strategy. I think people can implement as well. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with variations. And the nice thing is right now, Amazon just merges all the variations, even if that old variation where some of those reviews came from drops off. So I think it's a fantastic way to get some reviews and get some traction early. So let's talk about PPC as it relates to launch. Do you believe that PPC is a big component of somebody's launch strategy, or should it be, like you push it to later? Because I think we've heard different opinions. Some people say, no, wait till you get 5 reviews, right? Some magical number, right? Until you turn on PPC. Some people, and I'm in this camp, we launch PPC campaigns day one. And if that's the case, tell us about like the structure that you use with PPC campaigns when you're launching a new product.
I'm with you, Josh, on day one. Day one, launch PPC, get that data going, get the clicks coming, get the added carts going, get people to click around your listing. So day one, PPC go live. I like to do exact match. And if you do really good keyword research, and if you're brand registered and you got brand analytics, you can really find the terms you want to go after. I like to do exact match, and I'll play with broad and phrase as I want to spread out and find new keywords to go after. But at the very beginning, I want Amazon to know, hey, look, these 5 or 10 keywords that I've got in this exact match campaign, my product's relevant for it, and I want to show up for it. And so I'll go, heavy exact, top of search, multiplier turned on, give me that up down bid strategy as well. And this is outside of Sellozo. This would be launch strategy only. Up down strategy, aggressive top of search multiplier, 5 or 10 keywords. Budget, I keep the budget kind of tight, maybe like $50 or so. And then something I like to do is day part that campaign, meaning that campaign won't turn on until let's just call it noon Central Time. Reason for that is as we see inside the data and as we look at PPC cost per clicks throughout the day, the highest cost per click is going to be at that 12:01 when the day starts and everybody's bidding. So throughout the day, cost per clicks go down a little bit. Also, conversion rate goes up throughout the day. So I kind of wait and let all the big players spend their money, and who knows how much budget they have, but they can run out of budget. And then I come in around that noon time with that aggressive PPC strategy, hopefully to run throughout the rest of the day. Get those clicks, add to carts. I think add to cart gets overlooked here. Add to cart is something that will help you rank. So if people, even if they don't even buy it, they just come to your and they buy it at a later date. Add to cart. So exact match, add to cart. Or use exact match to get add to carts for your PPC campaigns. And then if you do have reviews, I like video ads. If you don't have reviews yet, I'm kind of wishy-washy on that. I still need to test it out on my own products. But if you have reviews, I would definitely do video ads and sponsor brand video ads. Do go after the same keywords. The reason I say that is just I feel like the video won't perform as well if you don't have reviews. You can't just looks weird. Maybe that's my own opinion, but probably need to look into that a little bit more. But wait for some reviews if you can to get the sponsor brand video ad up and running, just to kind of save some cost on the advertising budget that you're going to need to launch products. So if you don't have reviews, go all in on the sponsor product, get that product rank, get that organic rank up, and then transition over to some videos. And then you could try to do sponsor display and product targeting on your competitors. All this stuff's 60, 90 day time frame, but I like to run personally, just to get enough data in here and get enough clicks and impressions and add to carts and all that good stuff. And then I can dial it back a little bit. 90 is probably too long. I'll probably go more to 60. I'm kind of impatient on that. I want to make sure I'm not bleeding too much money, right? Yep. So I'll do 60 day and then cut out some of the losses, do some more keyword research, do some broad phrase, all that good stuff. But it's constant learning, right? It's just keep going. But another cool thing I like to do is on the listing itself, make the price. So set your price, right? And you could do your launch, and then depending on how aggressive you want to be, 30 days after you do that launch, you can lower your price, and now you get this little slash through on the listing that says lowest price in 30 days type of red badge on. So when people are scrolling through mobile, it kind of draws their attention to your listing because now you got this little red badge on the listing that says lowest price in 30 days. And then I also like to add the neon green coupon, especially for items that like I'm in subscribe and save. That just draws more people's attention to it. Some of your competitors may not use it, but just at the beginning, I'm trying to get clicks, impressions. I'm taking a loss on PPC. I guess I'm conditioned to that now. And then as we rank and as we get reviews, we start to be a little bit more profitable and dial back our PPC a little bit.
Interesting. Okay, so you're willing to be aggressive up front. What type of ACOS should people expect when they are launching?
This is always a good one. I get this all the time, especially with doing calls with sellers. Like, what should my ACOS be? I'm like, look, I see ACOS from like 200% to 300% at the very beginning, especially when they launch products. And this is in the supplement niche. So a lot of the sellers I'm working with are in really competitive niches. And I'm doing it myself. I'm going really high ACOS. And I say this just because you're you tell a tool or you're willing to go to a 200% ACOS doesn't mean that the tool that you're using is going to get there. It just means that your ceiling of like your ceiling of risk is higher. It doesn't mean that you're actually going to have a 200% ACOS. Whereas if you set your ACOS too low, let's say 50% or 30%, you've kind of capped out how high your bid can be, and you may be losing impressions and you may be losing clicks. Where if you have a little bit higher ACOS target that you can swallow at the very beginning, you could have got some more sales and maybe a little bit more reviews. So I'm really aggressive on PPC. It may not be for everybody for that, but I'm trying to get data. I'm trying to get ranked on page one. I'm letting Amazon know that these are the keywords I want to go after. And then if those keywords don't work for me in the future, we'll maybe do some more long tail stuff, but at least I'm ranked for it, or at least I got ranked for it and get some sales organically. Awesome.
Makes a lot of sense. With your exact match keywords, are you putting them into just one campaign, or do you try to set up, single keyword campaigns, exact match, so you have more control over that top of search, right? Because top of search, you can't control at a keyword level. You can only do it at a campaign level, right?
Yeah, I'll actually separate it by search volume. So like my top 5 are going to be in one campaign together. I have this is my opinion. I don't know if it's true or not, but I have a feeling like campaign history and like campaign relevancy and how well that campaign converts has something to do with where you rank at as far as when you bid on keywords. So like having a really good campaign data, like bunched together that are relevant for your keywords, I have a feeling that has something to do with where you rank at. It's just my opinion again, but who knows? But I'll put them in. I'll break them up in like search volume tiers. So like less than 10,000 go here, more than 10,000 go there, more than 20,000 go here, and each one will have their own budget. And then I can set different target ACOS goals on each one of them because I know like, hey, this one I want to go really aggressive after, but if I rank for this really highly searched term, it's also going to benefit on this long tail one as well. So I don't really need to be that aggressive on these long tail ones because these higher ones are going to help, and vice versa as well. Like I can be really aggressive on a long tail one, and maybe the one that gets searched the most, I can't become profitable on. It's just not going to work. So I'll go really heavy on a long tail one, knowing that it's going to help the higher one as well rank organically as well. So this is why you got to look at the data. You got to look at the data. You got to see what's going on. It's just not a set it and forget it.
Yep. Man, I think we could spend a whole nother hour just talking about different ways to set up your campaigns for launches. For us, what we do is we do break it into single keyword campaigns, and we only activate it on what we break our keywords into 4 different kind of buckets of keywords. You have your shop keywords, typically your longer tail keywords, but sometimes they're super high volume keywords that when you search for that product, like it is only your competitors that show up for that listing, right? You're not seeing like, lunch boxes and, then a water bottle, like a bunch of hodgepodge, so to speak. You want to make sure that those keywords are like hyper relevant to like your product, right? That's what we turn on first, and it's only those. And then we also will turn on product targeting, because I think to your point there, Amazon likes the add to carts. And what I think is if you can put in some of the top sellers, that are already generating traffic. And if you can do product targeting on their pages specifically, and if you steal a sale from them, I think Amazon boosts kind of your ranking juice, so to speak. Is like, oh, they came to this guy who was the number one seller, and then they ended up converting on this new product. Maybe I should give this new product a little bit more love. So we go very aggressively to begin with, like product targeting our top competitors, saying, hey, we're all in. We want to steal sales from these guys. Have you seen that working at all in terms of product targeting?
Yeah, and sometimes it helps to have some reviews, obviously, for that product targeting, for that conversion rate to be a little bit better. But I like to test it out separately, just like you mentioned, like do product targeting, see how it performs, especially if you have an item, especially at launch, when your item is priced cheaper than your competitor. Maybe you have that little coupon added to it, so it kind of shows up a little bit. You could potentially, and I love doing this, especially in the niche I'm in, is like, you may have somebody who's always bought brand X, and you just keep targeting brand X. And if it takes $20 or whatever your customer acquisition cost is, I like to watch Shark Tank, and that's always one of the questions they ask is like, what's your customer acquisition cost? So I like to figure that out. Like, so if you know your customer acquisition cost, you could probably spend $30, $40 to get that customer, and now they're a subscriber. I was in this kind of a tangent, but I was looking at my. There's a tool out there that shows you like customer repeat purchases,
like the lifetime value.
Yeah. And there's a guy that is bought from us for like 4 or 5 years straight. Never talked to him, or never like have any idea. Never knew about it. It just like, how did I get that customer? Is what I keep asking myself. How did that guy find me? Like, why did he find this product? And he's been buying it for 4 years. He's never said anything. He's never sent an email. He's never complained about anything. I don't even know if he's left a review. So I went in and just sent him a new order. Like, and this is when they had shipping history, and there's a way to find shipping history, and just shipped him a whole bunch of product. And I don't know what happened, but like, that kind of stuff is fun. It's like, if you know what you're willing to spend to get a new customer, you may have that customer for 4 or 5 years or life. Who knows?
Yeah. Yep. So being able to understand what your lifetime value is for your customers, then you can backtrack and say, okay, my lifetime value of a customer is $100. Well, okay. And what profit, right? What's your margin on that? Then you can say, all right, well, you can spend up to, that's what your customer acquisition cost should end up being, right? So it might not be profitable on the front end, but you're going to make those sales on the back end, especially if you have subscription products. So completely agree with you there. What is do you know the name of the tool that helps you figure out the lifetime value or like repeat purchases and like tie it to previous orders?
It's a newer tool that I've been playing around with, Nozzle.
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 I haven't heard of that one.
I think it's nozzle.ai. You can go in there and you can see, they'll show you like what your true tacos, like your true target ACOS should be. It's really good for like find out your customer lifetime value, knowing what your ACOS needs to be for sellers. I do like it. It's got a lot of information in here that I haven't seen any other tool have.
That's amazing. I love it. Nozzle.ai.
Yep.
Is it, how do you spell that?
Nozzle.ai.
Okay.
They got a trial. I'm not even affiliated with them. I just found it and used it. So
cool.
Nothing here, but definitely would do a demo with them. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. I love that. Thanks for sharing a new tool. I'm excited. I'm going to go check that one out myself. Kris, you also mentioned briefly with your launch strategy that like maybe there's some influencers involved. Is that something you actively do? Have you seen success with that? What are some ins and outs about influencer marketing that people should be aware of?
Yeah, I think it's something that people are going to need to have like in their tool bucket or the tool chest moving forward. No matter what, I think everybody's going to be somebody thinks they're an influencer. There's social media everywhere. TikTok was working like crazy. Instagram Reels, I think you just got to be there. So we do have an influencer type of setup. We just Googled like pet niche influencer like company, and we found a website. Yeah, we found a website that it like organizes all this, and you basically apply to be a brand on this website, and then these influencers apply to get your product, and you either pay them $20, $50, or they'll just send them a free item. And in return, all that we ever ask is just tag us, so that we know that you tagged us and we can just share it to our audience. But the main reason we're doing it is obviously like to get the user generated content, like on our images, like we mentioned earlier, this episode, like having a proof of concept and like, oh, these people buy it. So what we've done is when we get a lot of influencers that buy our product or they post it about it, we ask them if we could get those images, like the raw file of it. And then I really like Canva. I've played with Canva for years, but I feel like I'm getting better at it. So I'll just take those images, I'll put it into Canva, make some type of like photo collage, and name it like trusted by hundreds of dogs or thousands of dogs.
That's cool.
And I'll make that like my last image before the video shows up, just to kind of like go through that storytelling of like, here's the item, here's what it does, here's the benefits of it. Oh yeah, here's proof of concept. Like here's why people love it. And then here's our video talking about our brand. So we do that just for the content. And then we do give a code out, like here, share this code so people can buy it. And here's a code you can use. And we kind of just track that through that code. Something again, like I mentioned earlier, is I don't use attribution enough. I would love to, if there's a tool out there where everybody, like every influencer gets own attribution link, put my referral link in there. And then now I can just, without manually having to do all this setup, because it seems kind of a lot of work at the very beginning to like manually do all these links, put your attribution link in there, and then send them all out. If an influencer could just apply, they get their link, and I put my referral bonus in it, and then that's the link they use, then we could be able to track like where that's coming from. So that's what we're playing around with. But yeah, influencer, I think it's just something you're going to need to do. If your product has a good vibe to it, I don't know if you've ever seen the video, but there was maybe a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago, there was this gel bead water gun type tool, like gel beads. It shoots these little like beads that are full of water in this little like gun, and gel blaster, I think is what it was called. But that thing went crazy. Like on TikTok, people started seeing these kids having fun with these guns, shooting around, and it took off on Amazon. So I think if you have a product that has a good story behind it and is shareable and has good content, you got to have some type of influencer backing and social media strategy.
Yeah. So are you paying for like Instagram posts or whatever? Like, how are you compensating these influencers, and what have you found to be the most successful?
I try first to say free item. Like, we'll give you a free item. Normally that's good. Normally that's like perfect, no problem. Here's my shipping address. Okay. And I'll send it to them, and I'll give them a coupon code when they get there. Normally that's fine. And so far it's been working really well just on that. But I do get some people like, I'll do it for $20, or I'll do it for $50. I've had some outrageous ones like $1,800, $2,000. I feel like there's a lot of other smaller fish I can go play with, and don't need to worry about the higher ticket ones. I'd rather have like 200 micro influencers, smaller influencers, than just one big massive one. This is my opinion. But some of them are just like free items good, and that works great and have no pushback. And I do get some that say, we'll do it plus $20 or plus $50. And normally I'm just like, that's fine. We'll just do it. I don't mind paying $50 or $100 just to get the content.
Interesting. But I know you give them some coupon codes, right? So you have seen sales then come from the influencer marketing, I would assume, and that's why you continue to go that route. Is that correct? Yeah, and I'm experimenting now on a product that I'm not using PPC on. So I'm not using PPC on this item just to see how much traction I can get from social media.
and no paid ads. I mean, I guess social media is paid ad, but no Amazon paid ads. I'm not doing any ads on Amazon with this product. I'm just doing social media blasts. And I get a few, like 3, 4, 5 sales a day through it. The link I give them, though, is if you go to mobile and if you look at your product to the right, to the right of your image is that little share link. I get that link and I share that to the influencer and say, just share this link. I don't know if that has any help, but I'm going to try that link to see if that has any boost.
I love that. I've heard of that kind of hack, so to speak, that I think Amazon does like that, like sharing feature, right? So adds that social virality. Well,
I figured it was the closest like white hat thing. Like the link's in there. It's coming from Amazon.
Yep.
You put it there. I mean, I'm going to use it.
Yeah. You're not doing anything shady. Yeah. I'm a big believer in go white hat, all the way. So I love that strategy. Love it. Well said. I think that's a lot of value. You've shared a lot of value, Kris. I think I could keep asking you question after question here, and you have so much experience, and you've seen not only in your own brands, but with other people that you're looking under the hood of their businesses as you consult for them. So thank you for all the actionable strategies that you've shared today. I do have some final questions that I want to ask you, but before we get to those, I love to leave the audience with 3 actionable takeaways from each episode. Here are the 3 takeaways that I noted, Kris. Let me know if you think I'm missing something. So to begin with, we started our conversation with listing images. So my actionable item for everybody should be to go take a look at your listing images. And if you are not having a professional, whether it be a graphic designer working on them or a professional photographer working on them or doing 3D renderings, like that's honestly where you should probably start your focus. And then we kind of layered onto that, like focusing on that main image. How do you make your main image stand out compared to everything else that you see? So when you scroll on mobile, if you see everything's kind of looking the same, you've got to start coming up with creative ways to maybe push the envelope a little, add a few extra features to your product to make it stand out, right? Zooming in on a product or zooming out, adding, if it comes with multiple items, like adding more items or taking away a few items, so that you just want people to click in to that listing. That's action item number 1. Action item number 2, I would say, is you've got to start building that audience, right? And so if you are not figuring out a way or have a strategy to obtain people's email addresses, their phone numbers so that you can text them. I'm a big fan of text message marketing. The opt-in rates are good, and the click-through rates are even better than what you see in email because everybody knows their email inbox is just completely full. So figuring out a strategy of how you're going to attract people there would be another item. And I think kind of a bonus add-on to that would be if you have subscription-related products, consider sending out sample packages of those other products that you have in the hopes that those people are going to return. They're going to upgrade to the actual, product itself, and then they're going to become a subscribe and save, customer of yours. So I think that's a fantastic, free gift to be giving people. And it's just a ton of value. Who's going to complain about receiving extra freebies in the mail? And then last but not least, when it comes to launching new products on Amazon, I think there's 3 strategies that you can quickly implement. Is number 1, reaching out to an audience. Number 2, activating PPC from day 1. And then action item number 3 would be incorporating some influencer marketing. And on that note, I think you mentioned, Kris, whether I wish there's a software tool that could give attribution links to all of these affiliates or influencers. When I was at the Sell and Scale Summit, I ran into Reversion, and I'm actually working to get the CEO of Reversion on the podcast. But so far, they are the only ones that are claiming that they can give kind of these affiliate links using your attribution link to influencers. So I need to do my due diligence on that a little bit more, but that's a new thing, new software that I've come across that hopefully will.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I walked by their booth as well. I was like, what do you guys do here? Like, what's going on here? And I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that could be a good tool if they could do all that, the referral link and bonus and all that good stuff. That'd be nice.
Yep. So we'll see. Fingers crossed, right?
We'll see.
Or maybe it's on the roadmap down the road. So Kris, I kind of summed things up there. Is there anything you feel like I was missing that, our listeners should definitely pay attention to?
No, I think you hit a lot there. A lot of good stuff. I think you got it in there. That's pretty good. Impressive. I'm definitely taking mental notes here on how you're running this podcast.
Well, I need to do this on the receiving side. I need to join your podcast and be on the opposite side. So I'll take my own tips away. All right. So Kris, let's dive into kind of the final questions here. Number one, what has been the most influential book that you've read and why? Yeah.
And I put it back here because I saw this question. It's right here. Built to Sell is the book that I read most recently that I really got involved with. I try to read some of these books and it's more like, here's what I did and here's what I did, here's what I used to do. But this one is like a story, like it's a made up story. And it tells about a guy that has an advertising firm and how his mentor told him, like, don't just be like a big advertising firm, find one spot within the advertising world that you like and be the best at that one. And people will come to you and pay more because you're the expert with postcards or whatever. So that was kind of cool. Like that really got me into it. And that kind of shifted my mind a little bit. Like, don't just be a generic Amazon seller, go be the best, like, dog treat company you can be and be the best at it and be all in on it. So, Built to Sell, definitely a good book, quick read, something I would definitely recommend.
Awesome. Love that. I'm going to have to go check that one out. I like that advice there. All right. Next question here. What is your favorite productivity tool or resource?
So I think this one is pretty generic. I like Google Docs. Google Docs I use for most everything, sharing stuff with VA, sharing stuff with potential like investment, whatever it is. But like Google Docs is just an easier way to store data. I recently had, so the reason I'm in love with Google Docs now is because I had a bad experience with not using Google Docs. My laptop, I lost all of it because nothing was shared. Nothing was shared in my Google Doc drive. I lost all of it. So rebooted all my computer. So I had to redo it all. So now I'm like, okay, we're using Google Docs moving forward. Everything is in here. Spreadsheets are in here. Photos are in here. That way, if somebody's computer busts and dies, we don't lose that data anymore. So I think Google Docs is one that gets overlooked.
Backing everything up to the cloud. I
all
like that.
It.
I agree. I agree. Because, we have like a lot of design files and it's the same thing for us. It's like, we've got to have multiple backups. I cannot imagine what would happen if that just disappears one day. Right.
Yeah. It sucks. Believe me.
Yeah. All right. Last question here. Who is someone that you admire the most in the e-commerce space and that other sellers should be paying attention to?
This is a tough one. I saw that question. I was like, this is a tough one because I am constantly like learning from other sellers and like other people in the space. I like to watch a lot of YouTube videos. One that is coming to the top of my mind right now is his Heist on YouTube. I don't know if you've ever seen he goes by Adam Heist on YouTube. He doesn't even know I follow him, which is great because like he doesn't even know if it's kind of funny, right? Like, and then there's a couple on Instagram that I like to follow. The guy, the handle The Genius Company. He created a lot of good supplements that are in the supplement space, big dollar. But he's like 30 years old, 20 million in earnings. I like to follow him, but there's like not a set one because they all bring different things to the table. Like Adam over at Heist on YouTube, he brings like really good strategy and really good like things to do with keyword research. And then this newer guy I'm following on Instagram, he's more like mental, like get your mind right and so it's just hard. Like I don't really have like a set mentor. I would just say find somebody you like and just stick with them and follow their path. There's a lot of other fake mentors out there, and a lot of them are teaching because they couldn't sell. And so be careful what you watch out there.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, I think you've dropped a lot of knowledge today, Kris, and I appreciate your time. And if people want to follow up with you, they want to learn more, maybe they're interested in Sellozo, tell us where they can find you. I think you also have like a free gift you wanted to offer our audience, and tell us where to go.
Yeah. So Sellozo.com, Sellozo.com. There's a button on there that says like request a demo. It doesn't have to be a demo. It can just be a call and we can just chat about whatever. As you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about this space. So that's easy spot to get me. If you want to talk to me personally, LinkedIn, Kris Gramlich, KrisGramlich. I'm on LinkedIn. You can always send me a private message. Happy to help. I love talking shop. So if you have questions, I'd love to help out.
Awesome. Well, Kris, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll hope to chat again and see even more strategies as the years evolve and move on. So thanks for joining us.
Josh, thank you. You've been great.
Thank you for listening. Visit EcomBreakthrough.com for more information. If you've enjoyed today's episode, the best way you can show your appreciation is by clicking the subscribe button and quickly leaving a review. See you again next time.